Everyone, and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. It's the starting 11 show for Everton versus Brentford this Saturday at Goodison Park, and what's a massive game, but they are all massive at this stage of the season and this predicament that we find ourselves in. So we're going to be going through the 11 which I think Sean Dyche will go with for this game. It's a match that, of course, we need 3 points in. We can't afford to lose ground with the teams around us. You know, a lot of teams around us, you could argue, have fixtures where you wouldn't necessarily back them this weekend. However, you can very rarely go off that sort of analogy. Because I fully expect Bournemouth to go and probably get a result at Liverpool this weekend. And, the same goes for teams like Leeds. I expect Leeds to pick up points this weekend as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But massive game. We can only focus on ourselves, and we need a win. We need a win to just sort of keep touch with these teams in and around us. And hopefully, based on other results, we can maybe leapfrog out of that relegation zone. Coming in off the back of that game last week at the City Ground, which saw Everton draw 2-2 against Nottingham Forest in a game that, for 90% of it, we played relatively well and in control. And then, individual errors cost us again. Very, very disappointing. But, we can't afford to not go again and try and get something here. We're at home. Going to be a really difficult game, of course. Brentford, 12 games unbeaten. But, these runs are there to be broken, aren't they? We're coming up against a really top side, I feel. And, we're just really going to be on it this weekend. So let's jump straight into it. I think Jordan Pickford's obviously going to start in goal. No real surprise there. Right back, Seamus Coleman, I think, is going to continue. Sean Dyche has been quite coy in his press conferences, really. He's not really given much away. He's played his cards quite close to his chest in terms of the fitness of certain players who we'll come on to. Nathan Patterson, I just don't expect to see him involved. I don't know why. I just feel like it might come a little bit too soon for him. I very much doubt at 2:00 tomorrow when the team buzzes up on my phone that I'll see Nathan Patterson starting this game. For that reason, I believe Seamus Coleman will start at right back again. The centre-half pairing, obviously, last couple of games has been mixed up a little bit. We've seen Michael Keane come in for the arguably out of form Connor Cody. Keane's come in, obviously got an assist last weekend. But of course, I think a lot of people would like to see the likes of Yerry Mina maybe come in, a bit more of a presence at the back there alongside Tarkowski. So I think it remains to be seen there what he's going to do. Whether he's going to take Keane out, I don't know. I think he might. I think he might bring Connor Cody back in at home. Of course, could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling after a couple of games out, Connor Cody might come back into the side. So I'm going to say possibly Connor Cody back alongside James Tarkowski, who, of course, it's very unlikely that he will ever lose his place in the Sean Dyche side. Then we move on to left back. Obviously, Ben Godfrey's been filling in last couple of games with Vitaly Mykolenko, who's been out ill. I didn't think Ben Godfrey played too badly last weekend against Forest. I just feel like he's so much more physical than Mykolenko. And I think Mykolenko was quite poor, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't really rate Vitaly Mykolenko, and I've said that for a while now for people who watch this channel. And I'd like to see Ben Godfrey continue at fullback. I feel like he's got the pace to deal with this very dangerous Brentford attack. He's more physical. On the ball, maybe he can be a bit better, but I just feel like as a defender, I just feel like he's going to do a better job than Mykolenko. So I'd like to see Ben Godfrey continue at fullback. Onto the midfield now. Abdoulaye Doucouré, he's in, the bar isn't very high, of course, but he's in good form for Everton standards, I suppose you could say. Scored last weekend, got on the score sheet. Obviously gave the ball away for their equaliser, which was bitterly disappointing. But apart from that, I thought Doucouré had quite a good game. He was driving forward a little bit, which is what we've wanted to see more of Everton midfielders do. So I fully expect Doucouré to continue in this vein of form that he seems to be in at the moment. Seems to be enjoying his football under Sean Dyche. And listen, there is a player in there. There's a player in there, and we've seen some good things from Doucouré in recent weeks. So if you can continue that, then that'd be great. It's just a Ghana Gay. I think a few were probably surprised to see him in the Nottingham Forest lineup. I think he will start this game. It looks like he's quite a bit of a mainstay in this side. But I thought he didn't do too badly against Forest. Had a bit of a nightmare against Arsenal. But like I say, he seems to be an important part of that midfield. So I expect Sean Dyche to select him again. And then Amadou Onana, who, in the last couple of games, I feel like perhaps gone off the boil a little bit. And it's frustrating because we've seen the levels that he can reach. I think back to, as we came back from the World Cup and, games against Arsenal and Leeds where he was a bit of a presence in that midfield. Tailed off a little bit last couple of games, which is a bit disappointing to see. So I think if any of the three midfielders are going to drop out, it could be Onana, because I feel like he was quite anonymous in that Nottingham Forest game. And I don't know whether you're going to see maybe a James Garner come into the side who's back involved with the squad now. I can't see it myself. I think it'll remain unchanged. I do. So I feel like the midfield three is going to remain Doucouré, Idrissa Gana Gueye, and Amadou Onana. And then the wingers, I think it's going to be McNeil and Iwobi again. Again, I thought McNeil was all right against Nottingham Forest. I did. I think under Sean Dyche, he just seems to be a little bit more effective in games. And hopefully, you'd like to think that the more he plays, he's only going to get better. So Dwight McNeil's going to play. Alex Iwobi as well. Yeah, he's plodding along, isn't he? He's probably our most creative player at the moment. So I don't think you can really afford to take him out. But not only that, who do you have to bring on? There is no one really. That's the thing about these starting 11 shows. There's only so many players. Don't exactly have a mass pool to choose from, do you? So, and you look at that, the fringe players, if you like, and none of them exactly fill you with much excitement. And then, of course, the striker position. Demarai Gray's been given the nod recently. Obviously, scored that penalty, and he was looking all right against Forest. I thought, a bit rusty. I thought he tired towards the end. Of course, he got taken off. I'm surprised he got taken off as late as he did. But I just look at the likes of Neil Maupay, and Ellis Sims doesn't really seem to be getting a look in under Dyche. So I expect Demarai Gray to perhaps start up front again at home. Like I said, we're really on the bare bones of this side now. So I suppose it will be Demarai Gray, because for me, Neil Maupay just isn't up to it at all. The more and more I see of him, the more I'm convinced that he's not up to the job. So yeah, that's my starting 11 that I think Sean Dyche will go for. The only change really is that I think he might make a change at the back again. Might take Michael Keane out and bring Conor Cody in. Of course, I could be completely wrong, and he could stick with Michael Keane. He could bring Yerry Mina in, which I think is a shout that I've seen a few people wanting. I agree. I like Yerry Mina. His days in Everton shit, doesn't take a genius to work out that they are probably numbered. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does there. Does he keep Keane in? I think he might bring Conor Cody back into the fold, but who knows? So there you go. That's my starting 11 for Everton versus Brentford. Leave your comments down below if you agree, disagree, who you would bring in, who you would take out. And hopefully, more than anything else, we can just get 3 points at the weekend, because we need them. So yeah, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out all the rest of the content on the way surrounding this game. Thanks. See you next time.